there are 8,500 gross in the new text than in the old one. But since they had the instruction from Sarkozy to make a mini treaty, the council was then instructed to change the font so that they have less space between the lines, and now they have managed to have 8,500 more words and 62 pages less. So that way we can make a mini treaty. It's not a very sympathetic way the European Council have worked. In this case, they took a political decision, they made a political agreement among prime ministers that this text should not be put for referendum anywhere. Then they tried to avoid it in Ireland. It was not possible because your course in this country is still too independent. Congratulations. Because you should know that what is published until now, signed by the prime ministers, is a text they had never ever read. Never. Why? Because it can't be read. This is not a treaty. This is 300 pages of amendments to 3,000 other pages of treaties. And you can only read it if you take one amendment by one and then look it up in the existing treaties and insert it. We will do that job for you so that you will have a reader-friendly edition that's possible. They have decided in the Council that it's not allowed for any institution in the European Union to print a consolidated version which can be read before it has been approved in all 27 member states. This is a decision. The European Parliament, we agreed unanimously in the Constitutional Affairs Committee that we wanted a reader-friendly edition, a consolidated version, which would be read unanimously. We will not have it, because higher powers decided we cannot have it. This is an instruction from some prime ministers. They do not want the text to be read. The order is signed. And then they have managed to change the presentation. They take away the word constitution from the front page. And if you then go in the Lisbon Treaty to Declaration number 27, you will then find that there you have the constitution again, because it approves the existing court cases, the verdicts from the court in Luxembourg. Among them, you have verdicts explaining that the European legal system is a constitutional system from 86, qualified majority votes in the Council. You should also fear, for instance, the court in Luxembourg. They can then use the extended areas of cooperation to make it their way. Let me give you a new example. 18th of December 2007, just before Christmas, the court in Luxembourg took a very important and far-reaching decision in the so-called Laval case. A Latvian company went to Sweden, built a school, the Latvian salaries. The trade unions in Sweden were not against foreigners coming helping to build a school, but they insisted that those who come should go for a Swedish salary when they work in Sweden. This case was then brought to the court, and Sweden was outlawed by the court. So it's now legal in Ireland, and the Constitution, this treaty, will legalize it formally by approving the verdicts, the existing verdicts. It's now legal for foreign companies to come to Ireland, the foreign labor, and give them the salary they deserve at home in Latvia at home. This is possible. If you have a minimum salary, as you have in Ireland, €8 or something like that, then you can force them to pay the €8 as a minimum salary. But you cannot force them to pay the normal salary. And then there are two consequences. They come and take your jobs because they're cheaper. Or they come and have a lower salary, and you can keep your job by lowering your own salary. Every family has a son or a daughter or an uncle or an aunt who is in this situation. It's my job or my salary, which is threatened. And it will be the battle on the Vaxholm case will be a very big battle in Sweden and Denmark and other member states. particularly in Sweden and Denmark, because we have no minimum salary. In Denmark, you can go and work for 40 cents an hour. We have 85% of our workers in trade unions, so no one goes for 45 cents and work. But it's not a law. So in Denmark, when implemented now in Denmark, Latvian workers can go for 45 cents work legally in Denmark.
The following section might shock you. You will be thinking, how could such a system be contemplated for a democracy, let alone be implemented, and why is it deliberately deceptive? Everything in this brief summary is backed up and will be presented. The European Council, made up of 27 Prime Ministers from the EU countries. The President of the EU will be decided on in private/secret negotiations instead of being democratically elected. France's President Sarkozy has informally proposed Tony Blair as the first EU President, which could last up to 5 years. The self-amending Article 48 of the Lisbon Treaty gives these 27 EU Prime Ministers the right to amend all treaties on their own. The Commission proposes laws and is made up of unelected civil servants. The Commission President will be chosen by the 27 people on the EU Council. The other members will be selected by the Commission President on the basis of suggestions from governments, from which the unelected Commission President can choose whoever he likes. The European Parliament cannot decide on and elect a name of their own. Every 15 years the selected Irish Commissioner would be removed for a period of 5 years. The Council of Ministers, made up of ordinary ministers, ministers of agriculture, etc. In the EU not all laws are voted on. If one is pushed to a vote, this group will decide by qualified majority voting, in which 4 of the largest countries could dominate. They decide mostly from behind closed doors, and the documents from the legislative meetings are not even available for members of the EU Parliament. The EU Parliament. Our elected MEPs have the least amount of power. They can only make suggestions. Even their suggestion powers are limited. They are not allowed to suggest a new law, only to make suggestions for amendments of a draft law, which comes down to them. The non-elected members of the Commission decide whether these suggestions have a chance or not. Ireland and other small countries will lose more MEP seats as new members join, as expected from the Balkans. The working groups. There are over 3,000 working groups made up of unknown members. These working groups hold a tremendous amount of power. In practice, 85% of all European laws are decided in secret working groups under the Council and the Commission. MPs, MEPs and the public have no access that would enable them to follow this legislative process.
So, the core in the Lisbon Treaty, that's to move decisions away from the smaller member states to the bigger member states, but also from the voters to the civil servants. Because 85% of all laws in Brussels, 85%, they are decided by civil servants in 300 secret working groups in the Council, prepared by 3,000 other secret working groups in the Commission. As a member of Parliament, I have no access to the documents. I have no access to what they are doing. First, the European Commission have a monopoly to propose a law. No one else. You have to be non-elected to be able to propose a law in the European Union. The Commission has a monopoly. Well, but you have an Irish Commissioner there. He can then take care of Irish concerns in the Commission. The Lisbon Treaty will abolish the permanent Irish Commissioner. We can propose amendments, and then the Commission say, has he made a good amendment? Then it has a chance that the Commission will non-elected say, it was a bad amendment from Cassie. It has no chance. The non-elected decide whether our democracy is good. And I'll say to you, if this is a good system, why not insert it in Ireland? Here in the Dáil, 100 meters from here. Why not say to the Irish Parliament, the Irish Dáil, from now on, you shall not make laws. From now on, you propose amendments to the civil servants in the departments, in the ministries, and then the heads of departments meet in a secret room, and when they judge the amendment from Parliament to be a good one, then you have an influence. If they say it's a bad decision the Parliament have done, then the Parliament is outlawed. This is how Europe works today.